Wait. So it's not a side hustle. He's taking the money.
How do you not just go and call the police? Get him arrested for this?
You think you're all that more than you are.
I think I could do better.
Welcome back to the Graham Stephan Show, and we got to talk about two disaster Dave Ramsey nightmare situations because these recently came to my attention, and it's absolutely awful what happens when you mix money and relationships and family. So let's break this down as soon as you hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done that already. Oh, and also a big thank you to For Wellness, The Good Stuff, for sponsoring this video, but more on that later. Let's begin.
I feel stuck in my father's business. I'm 23 years old. We got 7 team members, including myself, and me and my wife about a year ago just opened up our own small business. Kind of a long story, but anyways, I'm doing 2 to 3 people's jobs as a one-man show. I've been doing it for the past 2 to 3 years, and every conversation me and my father have had is that his payroll is just too dang expensive, and that if we had more work, then he could hire somebody on to help me out.
He's very fortunate just to be able to work in a family business like that, to have your father build up a business and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to hire you on as my son, and you're going to take it over one day, hopefully, if you do a good job. That's a very fortunate position to be in. And you know what the reality is, too? Anybody knows this, is that if you work for yourself, you end up doing the job of multiple people. Like, I was talking to Layla Hormozy about this, like, a year ago, and she was talking about stepping out of her business and delegating more. And I said, how do you do that? Because I look at delegating sometimes and I just think, well, you know what? It's easier for me to do it myself and it saves some time. And it would take too long to have to train someone new and to start over, and like, I may as well just do it myself. And she said that when she hired herself out, basically removed herself from the company, took 7 people to do the job that she was doing. 7. So that really got me thinking. If you're self-employed, you end up doing the jobs of multiple people. You wear multiple hats. It just is what it is. It's a part of running a business. It's something that you generally just have to get used to, especially if you're working for a family business.
What is the new business?
It's dealing with the marine industry. And the whole reason we got into it is because my father has the machine in his store to get started in it.
You're manufacturing a product.
Exactly. We're manufacturing
$40,000 as your side gig. What's your profit on that?
Probably, I would say, close to $30,000.
You know what? That's a pretty good margin. That's a good business to be in. Now, some of that's because, or probably all of it, is because the dad has the CNC machine, which could be very expensive. But my gosh, if he's able to do this part-time while working at his father's company, it just goes to show. It's a good business, high margins, a lot of demand. There's a lot of potential in that.
Your side hustle, are you doing that during the time that he's paying you to work for him?
Yes, and he is allowing that.
That's weird.
It's very generous. Very generous. The father probably thinks, you know what? If I could help my son out and it's not taken away from my business, I don't care. If he has any downtime and he's making good use of it, it's not like he's just there scrolling TikTok throughout the day. Like, he's actually putting in some work. So on that aspect, like, you got to commend him for it. I think it's pretty good.
He invested into that machine, so he looks at all the profit coming in as his money. And I have no say-so on, where to move forward with that business.
Wait. I thought you had a side hustle.
Yes, that is my side hustle, but I'm using his machine to do the side hustle. So he looks at all the profit coming in as his money.
That makes no sense. So he's using his machine to do it. It's his side hustle, but the dad views that as his money. This is a mess. The 23-year-old goes into this just thinking, I'm going to make some money. The dad thinks, oh, great, my son is making me more money. How do they not have a discussion about this? This is one of the reasons why you really gotta not only put everything in writing, but have deep, in-depth discussions about what could go wrong? What is my profit in this? What is your profit? How do we delegate everything? What if I'm doing this work? You know what? This is already gearing up to be a massive disaster.
And he's taking the money.
Kind of.
Well, there's not a kinda. Who got the $40,000? You or him?
It's just sitting there.
What's the agreement?
There is none. There is no written agreement.
Kind of is never an answer. Is it yours or his? I don't know. Kind of. Kind of mine. Kind of his. Yeah, in legal terms, that's just called you don't know shit. I mean, we got to call it for what it is. That's what it is. You're not having discussions. You're doing a terrible job at this. Commend you for making money. It's just bad business to run it like he's running it. bad.
Does he think it's his money and you think it's yours?
Well, I would like to invest it back into the business, but a conversation
Back into the
I had with
business
him
means
before-
it's his.
Exactly, and he told me before it's his money.
So it's not a side hustle. It's his business.
Yes, yeah.
I love how his answer changes from the, yeah, it's my business, my money, to within the span of a few minutes, no, it's his business and his money, but I'm running it. That makes no sense. This guy is lost.
All right. So you said, hey, Dad, I think you ought to expand into this area, and I'm, as one of your employees, going to go do this, and you've helped him grow his business. Okay. I'm with you. Now, what's the problem?
By the way, if I seem a little more energetic than usual today, it's because of this. Without exaggeration, I found a strategy to make my coffee taste absolutely delicious in a way that helps with focus and recovery in the gym without adding a whole bunch of unhealthy coffee creamer that leads to a sugar crash. And it's all thanks to our sponsor, The Good Stuff by 4Wellness. No joke, it's absolutely incredible. I just add 1 scoop of The Good Stuff, and all of a sudden, not only does it taste like I'm drinking a mocha coffee, but it's clean, simple nutrition that helps with focus, energy, and recovery. It's seriously that easy. There are no extra steps, there's no mess. They just make it super simple to throw in every morning, and it gives me a smooth, steady focus without any jitters or crash. It's also packed with powerful anti-inflammatory ingredients and your daily dose of collagen to improve skin, hair, and nails, and ease muscle and joint discomfort. I've literally been adding this to my coffee every single morning, and I even take the travel sticks with me when I go out of town. I just really like how convenient and easy it is wherever I go. Plus, 4Wellness has over 10,000 5-star reviews. So if you're interested, I'd highly recommend their free welcome kit when you subscribe. You'll get 30 travel packs with a tumbler, perfect for busy days, or a 30-serving pouch with a ceramic canister and metal scoop, designed to look great on your kitchen counter. Even better, subscribers also enjoy 25% off the single purchase price for life, with the option to save up to 30% on double subscriptions. All you have to do is use the link down below in the description or the QR code on the screen to save 25% off when you subscribe and get free shipping on your first order when you use the code GrahamStephan. Again, the link is down below in the description. I really hope you enjoyed as much as I do. Thanks so much, and now let's get back to the video.
The problem lies where I'm seeing the profit coming in from that. And kind of my wife's idea is if I was my own installer, I mean, I could basically pay my whole month's expenses for my family in 1 day's of work.
So how much are you making?
At the end of the year, about 110, 115 on average.
23 years old and you made $120,000, $115,000.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh man, this to me just screams of entitlement. That's all it is. He's seeing how much money his dad is making in profit and thinking, oh man, I'm only making this amount. My dad's making this amount from every single job. My guess is that he doesn't realize all the back end, the accounting, the insurance on that, the investment over many, many years, if not decades, and he's just saying the bottom line. Thinking, oh man, I'm getting screwed. But my feeling is that insurance, workers' comp, all these other things go into it. The dad's probably not making as much money as the big job grosses, and the son's actually probably doing pretty well, all things considered. Just to have a job and a family business is a luxury like that.
You're functioning as a tradesman, physically installing the goods, correct?
Correct.
So a 23-year-old tradesman making $115,000 a year is not a good deal?
I think I could do better.
Man, you know what? I mean, it just sounds like the son has no reference point to like how good he has it. He's working with his family in a family business, making 6 figures a year at 23 years old, has no idea the struggles that could be out there and how fortunate he is to be taught exactly what to do and be able to make that money. Listen, hats off to him. He's obviously a hard worker. If I were him and I want to make 250 grand a year, I'd be going to my dad and say, hey dad, the business is going great. I think I could train a few other people. Let's hire 2 people to take my job, and I want to take this business to a new area and expand it. And when we expand it, I'm going to be using your name on this, and I'll give you 20% of profits, but let's expand. Now I get 80%. I could run my own business, have control over that. The dad still gets a kickback for basically using his brand. That would be a win-win.
And that's another thing, is it ethical for me to open up my own competing company within that same field when we're the only ones in an 80-mile radius that do what we do.
No.
What kind of question is that? To even ask, is that ethical that I compete with my father in the business that he taught me how to do, that he pays me $100,000 a year? Is it ethical to open up a competing business to him within an 80-mile radius where we're the only ones that do that? Dude, can you just imagine what's going through his head at that point? If I was the dad and I heard this, I would feel like I failed. He failed. He taught well up until to a certain point, but just didn't get that, like, his brain's not fully developed. That's all this is.
You think your company's only being paid for installing. Part of what your company's being paid for is your father's name and reputation and reliability that you had nothing to do with creating.
That is true. I am third generation at the store, but a lot of two of our main...
Well, then your grandpa's reputation.
Oh, third generation of the store. It's always the third generation that screws it up. It's like wealth almost never survives that third generation because the first generation, they make it. The kids, the second generation, see how much work went in, how much discipline went in to keep that money, to grow it. So they take over and they know, they respect it because they've seen the work that goes in. And then the third generation comes around. They don't get to see all the work and hustle and dedication that went into growing it. Not to that degree. And so they end up getting arrogant, cocky, and they spend it, and they blow it. That's what's happening here, that third generation curse.
The only way you can try to go on your own ethically is to go to another city and do this. If you want to do that, because you're all hot and bothered, go do it. But I think it's going to be a lot harder than you and your sweet wife think it is.
Not only that, but you have to consider the rift between him and his dad. It's like, is that worth going in and potentially ruining a lifelong relationship with your father to go and open up another business 80 miles away? Like, unless they have a great agreement between them, the dad's going to get a cut of this, they could expand the business together, I'm all for it. But for him to go and I want to make more money, I'm going to leave, that would be tough.
I think you go to your dad and say, all right, I've learned the install, I've learned a little bit about the customer relations. Now teach me about reputation. Teach me about grit. Teach me about the operations here and the details and making the payroll and the hires.
He's got to learn the difference between running the back end of a business versus installing. Because he's definitely seeing the customer-facing aspect of this, of installing a job, seeing the profit, but my gosh, it's always that back office stuff of accounting, employees, payroll, insurance, all that sort of stuff, like rent for a warehouse, or all these overhead that you never think of until you really get down to the nitty-gritty, even utility costs, gas to and from the jobs, just all this overhead begins to just continue to eat away at the profits. But you know what? It goes to show you that family businesses are really just the tip of the iceberg. And if you want to see something even worse than that, we have this video titled, "My Spouse Has Been Stealing From Me." And yes, it's just as bad, if not worse, than you're expecting.
When I got married, my net worth was a little over $1 million. My fiance at the time, now husband, did not have as much as I did, which was fine. So we had decided to get a prenup, and whatever he came in with, I matched, and then anything else in excess of that was to go to our children.
It's pretty generous. So if she has $1 million, my guess is probably a decent chunk of that is in home equity. But yeah, to be able to match him on that, so if he walks away, he doubles his net worth. Like that. That's a pretty good ROI.
Things just begun, just not making any sense. And I just started seeing our accounts getting lower and lower and lower when I believe our accounts should have been getting higher and higher. Mm-hmm. So I said, hey, what's going on? And his response was, I just haven't done the paperwork, for taxes, and said that he filed the tax extension. So
stories. Once you start getting stories, that's a red flag. When you have to start explaining things, when you can't just look at the account and say, hey, where's the money going? It should be so easy. This should be something that she would realize within a week. Within a week, she looks at their joint accounts and says, hey, this isn't adding up. Why is so much money going here? Oh, because this and this and that, and I came up with this, and this tax extent. No, you shut it down then and there.
Needless to say, he has completely wiped us out. We have 2 very small children, two under 2.
When you say he wiped out your savings, how much did you have saved? And he was just funneling it to keep his business afloat?
We had over $100,000 in savings.
Mm-hmm.
He also took from me personally $286,000.
This is theft. How is this not theft? How do you not just go and call the police, get him arrested for this? And I know. Here's what's going to happen. Here's the sad reality of the situation. Any judge is going to look at this and say, well, these are technically in both of your names, and he had the right to go and use this money because his name is technically also on the account, and, you could be complicit in this theoretically. And it's awful. And then she goes and divorces him, but then she has to pay him out. She's got to double his net worth because she agreed to double what he brought into them. That makes no sense to me. I'd be calling the police. I would be livid. I would be scorching earth. And if I were in her position with 2 kids, she can't trust him ever again. I don't know if you could ever recover from something like this. This, to me, is probably one of the worst financial situations like this that I've ever seen. It's awful.
The lies began when we were dating, and he actually lied on his prenup. And the $160,000 that he even came in with were tied to loans and lines of credit from his business.
So he just said that this is how much credit I have.
Okay, so she has a great shot at getting that prenup thrown out because he lied on the prenup. It's one of the things, the big no-no. Anytime you have an agreement like that, you got to be honest about it. You got to give full disclosure. Disclose to a fault. I learned this in real estate, by the way. Anytime you're selling a property, you do a seller's disclosure or agent disclosure. You want to over-disclose. You want to talk about every little thing that could possibly be an issue. Oh, you know what? It rained and some water. I left the window open and some water got in, and I had to repaint over that a few years ago. No biggie. But it's there. I disclose. Same thing applies here. You gotta over-disclose. Disclose more than you think you need to. Always, 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 always. So he was lying to her, most likely because he thought he could cover it up. She's gonna double his net worth, which is really just an illusion, just loans, so he can make an extra $160,000. He's been lying to her this entire time. She got screwed in this.
How's the business doing? Is it going into the business and his business is tanking, or does he, when you look at his business, is there profit?
I guarantee the business is a illusion. There's no business. There's no viable business. If he's going in with loans, he's lying to her, he's not disclosing. There's no way, in the back end, he's running a profitable business. There's no way that type of person would be able to succeed in business. There's no way. Capitalism will rule him out.
He's also racked up about $130,000 now in personal debt.
Okay, so from that perspective, I mean, what I'd say, first, I think divorce, that's the only way to go about this.
Are you separating from him?
No, we have 2 very small children. And I know the statistics with growing up in a home with a broken household, and I don't want that for my children either.
They're already growing up in a broken home because dad's stealing money. I mean, I would argue the kids are way better off with her, maybe some split custody, than with a father who's stealing money from the mother and just tanked them both.
Your income now goes into a different account with his name nowhere near it. I would contact a lawyer just on the basis of lying about a prenup.
If she's going to stay with him, I like their advice of you got to separate finances. Everything has got to be in her name only. Maybe she's the one that's 100% control over the finances. The husband, maybe what he makes goes into her account. She controls it.
His debt is his debt. And even if I decided to, let's say, help him get out of his debt, that I would not be, I'm expecting to get reimbursed at some point.
What? She's going to help him get out of debt. So she's basically taking money, just shoveling it into an oven, and it's going to burn. That's it. That money's going nowhere. He really thinks he's going to be able to make it back and pay her back? Never. Listen, I wish I could just tell her, don't do that. Don't invest anymore. If you're going to be with him, you separate. It's yours. His should also be yours too, and you have complete control of everything. Yeah, so let me know what you guys think of this down below in the comment section, and as always, a big thank you again to For Wellness, the good stuff, for sponsoring this video. This coffee is absolutely incredible. If you guys want to cut down on unhealthy additives and things like this that people put in their coffee, all the empty calories and sugars and stuff, try the good stuff. It's down below in the description. You'll see exactly why I enjoy it so much. Thank you so much as well for watching, and until next time.